So I love that. And so
Yeah,
I want to go back here because you said something. You said, I checked inwardly. So how did
yeah,
you do that? I mean, how are you talking about using your intuition? Are you talking about sitting down, getting quiet, meditating? How do you know, how did you know in the change
yeah.
process, Benny, what's you and what's ego? How do you
Well,
know
hey,
and differentiate
that
that?
that is the great question. And it's all of the above. Like it is the contemplation, the meditation, so to speak. Like you kind of go, like I close my eyes, I go in and I check within. And gosh, I went and saw, like I have a kinesiologist who I see, which helps with the muscle testing, so it helps get beyond the subconscious patterns and what's blocking me. And actually,
Yes.
she helped identify there is no block around the name.
Yeah,
All it
good.
was. Here's the key way to know what is soul or the true self or the inner self, however you want to talk about it, and the ego. Soul does not know fear, and so the fear in me that didn't want to take the step was simply
Oh,
the
wow.
ego getting in the
Yeah.
way, tripping me up. And
Wow.
when I recognized that, it was like I actually, when I posted my first article and set up my account to publish as Rue Benjamin, I actually truthfully still didn't know whether this was right. And in some ways, I probably still carry some doubts, but I did it anyway. And that's the
Yeah.
key. It's like, okay, I'm going to do it because, if I decide a week in, 2 weeks in, a year in, it doesn't even matter. If I decide, oh, I made the wrong decision, I shouldn't be doing it as this name, I shouldn't be doing it as this identity, I can change it.
That's right.
There are no
Right.
undoable mistakes, if you like, when
Right.
it comes
Right.
to the creative self. Like
I
you
love
can
that.
just, you can just like, if in doubt, don't stuff about, just go ahead and do it. You can always make a new decision in the future. So I just did it. I published an article, which
And
probably had like,
where'd you
I don't know.
publish it?
So I'm writing on Medium.
Okay, so
I'm
on
on Twitter
Medium.
as well,
Yeah.
but it's like Medium is, and I'll send you a link later. But so far I've written 4 articles, and interestingly, it coincided with a writing competition that Medium was offering around. They give you some word prompts, different topics, and it
Yes.
was really cool because like I had a couple of really cool stories in the sense that they meant something to me, and I just got in and I wrote and I wrote, and it was like I was really happy with what I produced, and it's actually got nothing to do with like am I reaching thousands of people or anything like that at this point? It's really just doing it for the love of it, doing it for the practice of it, getting out there. And here's the cool thing too. In my old life, in the old self, I would have relied on my old networks. I would have relied on the people who I already knew
Yes.
to give me feedback or whatever it is. Everything I've published has been read by people who have no idea who the old self is. And I've met all of these people. Like with the third article, I had some lady in New Zealand reach out and say, "Wow, I really love what you wrote. Can I publish it put it in my publication?" And so
Oh,
already there's like,
fantastic. A lot of
yeah, right.
validation.
It
Wow.
was a
That's so great.
validation. I know. And then there was
Oh,
like, so one of my articles, the story is about, it was called How to Return Home in a Pandemic. And I wrote about my journey from the US to Australia and the challenges and, the emotional journey of it. And it really resonated with people because
yeah.
people have had that same experience or similar experience of being stuck on the other side of the world during the pandemic, not being
Yeah.
able to get home or whatever. So yeah, look, it's just been a joyous and fun process. And
Wow.
in large way, I've got the process that we seeded in doing the process with you, like
Yes.
that kind of catalyzed this energy and said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give this a go.
That's fantastic. I just am so happy to hear it. And so, if you are just listening and you're wondering process, what process are you talking about? If
Mm,
you're, it's called Draw Your Future. You can watch the TED talk that I gave about it, but it's really you look at where you are and you capture in words and
hmm.
pictures. You imagine where you want to be a year to 5 years from today, 20 years from today, and then you figure out
Hmm.
the 3 bold steps you need to take.